All right, I got the recording started. Sorry, I cut you off, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Okay, it was just there. Scott, do you want to do like a quick retake so we can get you on the recording? I know how passionate you are about that. So that was a practice. Here we
Okay.
go.
All
One,
right.
two, three. Scott,
All
you're
right.
up.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Sylvia and Kelvin, for letting the affiliates participate. So it's going to be a little crazy with the rates here the next few weeks, probably, possibly even months, because of the situation in the docks. There's a potential strike going on with the longshoremen, and that could cause inflation. Inflation is the enemy of rates, and at the same time, the conflict in the Middle East could turn into a really big situation out there. And a lot of times when that happens in the world, it makes people want to invest in bonds and all this stuff. But what that does is kind of holds rates down. So you have two kind of fighting things with each other. It's going to be wild. I have a feeling for the next few months. But bottom line is, you should have your clients who are out there trying to buy a house just get in. You marry the house, you date the rate, possibly refinance it here in the next 12 to 18 months anyway. So, just get in. You guys know it's always a great time to buy a house. The best time to buy a house is 20 years ago, right? So buy it now and you'll be good. Thanks
Thank you,
again.
Scott.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Appreciate you so much. That is absolutely true. I have here now in my office, I have Angie. So Angie's up. Here you go, Angie. You're welcome.
Come into. Good morning, Angie, First American Title. Nice to see everybody. Just wanted to let you know it is time for desk calendars and planners. I know it always seems so early and it's already here, but we do have them. I dropped them off here at the office. So if anybody needed some, they're here. And then we also have the October calendar of events, really fun things to do with all your family. Now that we have kiddos, Kelvin and I, might be a good thing to look at to get some ideas what to do on the weekend to keep them busy. So we have them here for you if you need them. James, do you want to say something?
Just good morning, everyone. Good to see you on the Zoom. Have a good day, and thanks from Angie and I for your support. Have a good one.
Perfect. And who are you? You're salt and what?
Pepper.
There you go.
And you're the sugar today.
There you go. And I'm the sugar today. Mark's the cinnamon. Okay. It's here next in line. I have Nicole. Nicole, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you, Kelvin and Sylvia, for allowing us to join you. Can you believe there's only 90 days left in the year? That's right. You heard that right. 90 days. There's still so much opportunity for you as agents to capitalize on the market. So reach out to us for helpful tools and tips. We'd love to help you finish the year strong and get a kickstart for 2025. Please remember Nicole and Yvonne, Fidelity National Title, and we thank you so much for your support. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And it looks like we have someone else here. Who else do we have? No? Okay. So we're going to continue here. I'm going to go with Lucy. Lucy, you're up. And please tell everyone how much cash your Richard.
Good morning. Lucky. A lot of people call me Lucky for some reason. They read my name and they just say Lucky. But I am very, very lucky. And today I am the winner of the 50/50 raffle at the Arcadia Association, $70. So I am $70 richer than I was an hour ago. Thank you for having me here. It's such a pleasure to join you at your meeting, and great advice from Scott Shimamoto. I love that. He was very thorough on that. And just look for a little bump right after the election. There always is one, no matter who wins. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate you. And next here, I see Unita. Unita, you're up.
Good morning. Good morning, Sylvia. Good morning, Calvin. Good morning, our banker team. Unita Wu from Home Warranty of America. I do want to remind everybody, home warranty is back to style, right? So we don't forget about the home warranty. It's really important for all of you guys to be able to get the buyers have a peace of mind to have the first year warranty. If their water heater is leaking or their air conditioning having a problem, We do cover the roof leak repair as well. I know that winter is coming up very soon. So make sure all these items will be included into the plan. I ask everybody to, when you open an escrow, please CC me a copy, just drop down my information on there on the email so I could be able to know that you have a new transaction. Then I could be able to process the invoice and confirmation correctly and send everybody a copy of it. So then we will need to make sure that the plan is correct, and then the escrow got a copy, you got a copy, the buyers got a copy. Also, just want to let everybody know too, we do have the homeowner insurance included up to $1,000 deductible if they do have an issue with their plumbing and they need to get the homeowner insurance involved. We do give additional $1,000 extra on that for the homeowners to file a claim. If you need any home warranty, please reach out to me. I'm here to help you guys anytime. We're still 13 months, so we give additional 1 month free. Our trade call fee is really low for $75, and I'm here to help anytime. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, and appreciate you so much. And I'm looking here. I don't see any other affiliates. Am I missing any other affiliates here? I don't see any other affiliates on the screen. Any other affiliates here that I don't see? Please say something. Going once? Going twice? Okay, we're going to go ahead and continue. Kelvin is doing the slides. We're going to have a little change up this morning. I will continue to be on the meeting until we have our quote and my slides. I do have Mark and I have a funeral to attend this morning, so I will be leaving you in the most capable hands of our broker, Kelvin Chang. Kelvin.
I'll get the slides going right now. Microsoft is doing an update for me on the PowerPoint.
And so while you're doing that, Kelvin, I'll go ahead and jump in and mention to all of our agents here what the article is this morning at the Arcadia Association of Realtors. So the article for our meeting was is Article 1, and it's when representing a buyer, seller, landlord, tenant, or any other client as an agent, realtors pledge themselves to protect and promote their interests, their client's interests. So the obligation to the client is primary, but it does not relieve the realtors of their obligation to treat all parties honestly. This is something, it's our foundation. This is why we call ourselves the realtors, is because we have a foundation of how we conduct ourselves with our clients. No matter what's going on in our life, no matter what trials and tribulations is going on, we always have our client's obligation to be primary. So I want to remind 9.6, for sale signs. Okay, the only for sale sign on the listing should be the listing brokerage that's placed on the property. No other listing signs. So that's something that Kelvin can, elaborate a little bit more later. We're speaking in general here, in general terms. So one of the quotes while Kelvin's getting that going this morning, and it's again, generally speaking, and I've been hearing this a lot everywhere and anywhere, is common sense. Okay, we're talking about common sense. If only common sense was more common. So thank you, Kelvin, I appreciate that. So I'll dive right into that. So what is, we'll start off with what is business favor? What is a business favor? So a business favor is supporting or assisting in a business setting a peer in any way in good faith. Not to expect anything in return, just a kind gesture. That's one. Okay, 2, what is an arrangement in a business context? Okay, a promise to do something. Okay, always put what a business arrangement is in writing. It's best to be clear and concise what your business arrangement is, regardless of friendships, regardless of, I've known this person for 30, 40 years. Time changes, people change, the way people think change, the expectations of people change, and we want to make sure that, there's no hurt feelings. We want to make sure that everyone just fully understands this, whether it's under this roof or outside of this roof. We want to make sure that you have that. Be specific. And let me ask, is common sense a skill at work? Yes or no? Absolutely. I see Scott nodding his head up and down. Yes, absolutely. Common sense is a skill at work. Common sense in the workplace entails why it's important, how to develop it. And let me tell you, I have here, what are some examples of common sense in the workplace? Okay, separate work and personal life. Keep company matters confidential and be discreet about office politics. Okay, again, this is not specific to this office. Generally, you can walk into any setting, any room, anywhere. It could be a church, it could be, you know, any place that you're donating time to. Keep company matters confidential and be discreet about office politics. Be professional. Demonstrate trustworthiness, competence, respect, courtesy, dependability, cooperation, commitment, approachability, accountability, and maturity. Okay. Be prepared for safety, okay, as well. Here at the office, we have a well-stocked first aid kit. That's for any, you know, anything that's needed here. You need a Band-Aid, you got a paper cut in our office, we have Band-Aids. We have fire extinguishers. We don't have fire blankets, we're not a fire department. I believe there's an alarm in the building, but you know, we just all want to be mindful of what common sense is. Next time there's a shaker and you run outside, we just had a disaster readiness class, please don't run outside. You think that being outside is the safest place? You may not make it to run outside. We do have glass doors. Protect yourself wherever you are immediately because you don't know the capacity of any disaster. Okay, ask questions before starting work. Ask if there's any conditions or methods or anything that we need to improve on. Common sense, okay? If there's something on the ground, common sense in a business workplace is to pick it up. I know common sense comes at a high price. Be aware of your own human needs. What are your human needs? What's your comfort, your rest, your psychological safety? What's important? What's sustaining in high performance for you to have a high performance in your workplace? Again, common sense is based on good judgment and it's inbuilt of knowledge rather than a specialized knowledge. It can be developed over time. It's important to remember that everyone has different rates of learning. We're not a cookie cutter place. We always say that. We embrace the all-inclusivity and how different we all are. Let's practice this month. I challenge you to challenge me on common sense. I want to help you develop, help us all develop. There is no perfect example of someone with that, but I just like to say, I'll leave you with this. I worked at a workplace and they had a soap dispenser and the soap dispenser leaked and the soap leaked, the fluid soap leaked onto the floor. Everyone ignored it. Everyone complained about it, but no one did anything about it. So I became the solution, wrote a letter to administration. There was over 2,000 employees. I said, this is what's happening in the bathroom. This is what I see may happen. This is how I may see it impact the workplace. How about I gave them examples, we do this. How about we put a dish under the soap? How about we put a container or something under the soap dispenser or something so that way everyone can be safe in a workplace? Can you believe I saved my work $45,000 in a lawsuit? So what I'm saying is common sense. We all come together with little things. With that, I leave you with this information and I hope it makes sense to you. With that, your management team, Mark and Sylvia, thank you. You're up, Kelvin.
Well, when you talk about common sense and a lot of the tips and so it is true, not everything is common, especially with the diverse company and cultures. So just be respectful, be mindful, treat it as your home, treat the place and environment and others as if, you know, you were having a professional slash camaraderie with one another, that you're not trying to offend anyone else, especially your own beliefs or opinions, which you respectfully have and are warranted. But to me, keep religion, keep discussions on politics and the upcoming favorite president you may or may not have, which I have no favorite president, honestly. There's, it's like picking the worst of two evils. But keep your, we have a lot of stuff on our plate to think about, and our headspace in our minds is very limited. So I just want you to all just focus on productivity. Honestly, focus on your business. Don't be focused on and be jealous about someone else getting a new listing or having some new hot whatever thing coming up or business, and try not to be too boastful when you do have some business and others are not. There's a lot of stuff going. It's a slower year this year. Okay. And don't blame others or make fun of others if they don't happen to have something in escrow. There's a lot of stuff that I hope and I know we all are doing our part, and it makes us have a great culture. Common sense also reaches across your device. When you're emailing and your cell phone others, I have a series of communications that my agent is screenshotting to me to show me how unprofessional another agent is. There's name calling going on here. There's like a lot of I don't even want to read some of these, but they're cussing inside here. People are saying you're a Mickey Mouse agent. This stuff in here is very it's sensitive, it's recorded, and basically it's just all that it's about is just about signing a document, getting it to close, and getting an extension performed. And so don't let the agent conflict get away from the business. And our ultimate goal, like Sylvia said, is our clients first. Put the unprofessionalism aside, and you're representing your client, the seller or the buyer. Get the job done. Do your part of the contract. Your good faith, which is either the buyer or the seller side, and keep all the unnecessary drama aside, or let the business close, and then you can name call all you want within the code of ethics. So that's my asterisk. Obviously you can't bad mouth to others, but you can bad mouth right directly to them and tell them where the faults are and where their lack of reasoning in their arguments are. Document it in your email or text, so that way it's written evidence of your supporting cases of why you're thinking such a thing. So we're going to have a lot to cover today. Great to see you all and all the affiliates. I heard we have Angie and Kim as salt and pepper. We have Sylvia as cinnamon, and all you other rest of you affiliates are super sweet. I'm going to be the bitter one today. I'm going to be the bitter broker. So let's talk a little bit about the market. Let's talk a little bit about the forecast. We have a lot to look forward to, and I'm going to give you my honest truth, whether you like it or not. Here's what we got to share. But before I become bitter, I do want to be a little bit sweet and thank our October babies, and I wish you a happy birthday, and especially my wife, who happens to be born this month as well. So wish you guys a great month, and we celebrate into the fall, autumn, and Thanksgiving season. So Halloween is already coming up. I'm sorry, that's the next major holiday. We do got a lot of training and educational opportunities in advance. So if you want to get down into the gritty, learn more about finance, we have Tracy Shaw with ACG Funding talking about expanding your business, getting down payment assistance. And the client that I was just talking about on the series of chats had to do with down payment assistance. The buyer representative did not communicate that the buyer was relying on the California Dream Appreciation Program, and the buyer was getting state funds, and they were qualified and approved. So that caused a lengthy 2-week delay because of the Dream Appreciation Program, in which the sellers did not want to wait. But at the end of the day, there were some negotiations, there's per diems and penalties discussed, And at the end of the day, we got the business closed. But learn about it, because in this situation, the buyer's getting state funds to purchase their primary residence. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. Dream Appreciation, California. When in escrow, requirements for foreign buyers and sellers. Annie Fan, Chicago Title. She's going to talk a lot about the FIRPTA withholding requirements, because foreigners do have a duty to pay their taxes on gains. And so the escrow company will be withholding certain amount of proceeds from the seller based upon their calculation and the amount of capital gains for the benefit of the state. So that's the FIRPTA requirement. Learn more about it. If you have questions or don't know what I'm talking about when I ask for the FIRPTA form, then this is a great class to attend. We have Living Trusts. What you don't know may cost you, with Kay Nikori, the Living Trust Company. Great speaker, great educational opportunity to learn about the benefits of a living/family trust. Why owners, doesn't even have to be wealthy to have a trust. You don't even have to pay, tens of thousands of dollars. You can get a trust done under $1,000. You can get it done for, in that range, depending on the complications of your finances and your estate. But this is very, very important for those who care about the beneficiaries or successors that you want to gift your funds to. And deeds and real estate assets. I'm sorry, not funds, assets. So this is Tracy Shaw's class. She's going to talk a little bit about the down payment assistance program called HOP 80 and HOP 120. So if you want to learn more about that, that's a great opportunity to get those who are marginal in their qualifications for financing to purchase. They have a strong motivation, but marginal qualifications. Hey, down payment assistance might be the best plan to achieve their goals and get their own home instead of paying rent. So it's for first-time home buyers, especially if you have limited funds, but they do have jobs. All right. If you want to learn about the breakfast meeting with Julia Juarez, or I believe that is an R. She's the California Deputy of Insurance Deputy Commissioner, and she's going to talk about the insurance crisis, what you should know, especially for the upcoming year and all the rising rate increases that we've experienced in our properties. Well, maybe there's a solution, maybe there's a plan, maybe this is just temporary. Learn more. She's going to give us an update to the West San Gabriel members. It's by Zoom, or you can go in person to the West San Gabriel on Valley Boulevard. And that's Annie's class regarding the FIRPTA. Great to see her back in business and working hard. And I got to see her last month. She looks great. And also let you know about FinCEN. So some transactions do get flagged. GTO is right here. When you tend to have transactions that are all cash, they want to source the funds. So if you have something around maybe $1 million or $2 million and above, it's all cash transaction. This escrow and title company may ask for additional documentation, sourcing of funds. The Living Trust seminar we talked about is a free class. So you're going to have a class here at our office, 12 to 1:30. And the myths of some of the of a trust, the benefits, and why you really should do it, and whether you should have a naming your minors, and what age should they be able to become a decision maker, stuff like that. Okay. So other classes with the AAR, we have the commercial mixer. There's a zoning 101 type of discussion. We also have a CRMLS training. And there is in October a presentation on the clear cooperation policy this is the legal counsel for CRMLS. And he's going to talk about, from an attorney perspective, what we should be doing in regards to the clear cooperation and the transparency of compensation and data compliance with CRMLS and how we input our data. Another cool attorney for the AAR is Kelly Richardson, talking a legal update on October 9th at the Caravan meeting. Arcadia also has a one-day buyer's math. So if you want to be a little bit class. This one's $49, and they can kind of teach you the math of buying real estate, how to do a return on investment analysis, and kind of just speak more sophisticated when you can speak to the frequency of your client, whether it's a buyer, a first-time home buyer, or a savvy investor. You got to speak in the same frequency so they understand. Don't just talk without really explaining and matching what they can really gather and the terminology that you use. If you want to know about local city manager forum, there is some city updates. It's really cool because local cities like Monrovia, Temple City, Duarte, Arcadia, the managers of these cities, you have an opportunity to see and meet them, ask them questions, and they're going to present a real estate type of updates on the businesses and the economics and major city updates around our local San Gabriel Valley region. You also have an opportunity to take this class on networking with how to be the top 20% that gets 80% of the listings. Glenn Kangas from True Footage is an appraisal fintech company and letting you know about the resources to help you get more referrals. That's the West San Gabriel calendar of events. Make sure whichever board you belong to, check their calendar and see if there's anything that's interesting to you. We're going to be having Agents Helping Agents and a monthly meeting again on October 17th from Coldwell Banker top professionals all throughout the nation. And this one's going to be at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, regarding how to grow your business and the successes that they have, challenges, and ways they script and present their material. You also have Feature Focus Fridays. If you go on to learn about Moxie and the features that they offer, take one of the 30-minute sessions on Fridays and join them live and ask the questions. They're going to pick a particular tool. And every Friday, you have an opportunity in the Coldwell Banker University to sign in for free and get another skill under your belt regarding the Moxie platform and marketing tools. We're going to talk about a few things today. I put together a nice little agenda for us. One of them is called Vote No on Prop 33. This is a CAR stance opposition towards this proposition on the upcoming ballot for California, in which it's going to, if passed, would repeal Costa-Hawkins Rental Housing Act, and it will allow cities and counties to impose local restrictions and other more extreme rent control measures without requiring a vote of the residents. So do we want to allow our officials that are elected to make decisions on private property rights, to decide whether or not they should have rent control areas and or how much and or what type of laws and rules? So if you're knowledgeable about rent control, it does tend to have a negative impact on the neighborhoods in the cities that do allow it. It does have strong tenant protections and kind of limits landowners and property owners on what they can charge and how they manage their properties. So this is a little fact sheet that you can refer to. It's also on the CAR website. But ultimately, this will expand rent control in more cities and giving more politicians who are there for just a few years to make long-term impacts to all various cities. So be careful on this bill. It might worsen the housing crisis and really stop new construction of rental properties or affordable housing. So this might be a bad thing for tenants too. So increased rent control areas might really create a more shortage of affordable rental housing. So those are the reasons that CAR has put together and is advocating for realtors not to vote for Prop 33. And we're going to give you a market update. So I'm going to forecast using Jordan Levine, chief economist at CAR, his slides, and put together a little Q4 broker economic update. And I'll talk about the last 3 months of 2024. I can't believe we're already there. I also wanted to talk about unrepresented buyers. Let's discuss this classification of buyers. So I'm going to start with that right now. And in your listing contract, there is a form where it's called listing compensation. And that's where you put your 2, 3, 4 percent or whatever you're charging on your compensation. And in this situation, there is a field right below that. What are you going to charge, if any, to help out and the category of buyers which are considered unrepresented, no agent or broker involvement representing the buyer side. So is it possible for a buyer to purchase without an agent? Absolutely. Since the beginning of time, buyers could buy without an agent. It happens at auctions. It happens many times at foreclosures. It also happens on some for sale by owners or direct purchases where you see, if you have property, you've got a lot of mail, and a lot of them say, hey, we'll buy your property, all cash, guaranteed offer. We'll close in 10 days. All of these solicitations are situations in which investors who may not be represented by an agent are making a direct offer to an owner. And that is possible. It's legal. It is legal. It's not required, like Department of Justice and NER just had a settlement on. It is not required for a buyer to be forced to have representation. It is encouraged. It is strongly recommended, especially for first-time home buyers, to have someone who has a fiduciary duty to represent, and explain and kind of handhold the client throughout the complicated transaction. But again, some buyers may elect not to have representation. So that is the definition of this category of buyers, in which let's say you hold open house and the buyer says, I'm an investor. I bought 100 homes already. I don't need a representative buyer, but I like this property. Hey, listing broker, nice to meet you. I'm an unrepresented buyer. I have no agent and I'd like to write an offer. Can you represent this buyer? Yes. Do you have to force them? Can you force them to represent them? No, you may not. Can you encourage them to sign up with your buyer broker agreement? Yes, you may have a sit-down meeting with them and explain the benefits of working with you and the services you provide, or the limited services you provide, and you may negotiate to represent them, or you may also negotiate to present their written offer, prepare the documentation for a fee. And that fee could be paid by the buyer. It could be a percentage. It could be a flat fee. It also could be paid by the seller and could be a percentage or a flat fee. And so if the seller is going to pay it, you better off pre-write it in your listing contract in the field right under your listing compensation form. So yes, you may get extra compensation if you are working with that unrepresented buyer. And so that's in area 2C2, an optional paragraph area. That's where you get to pre-discuss and plan and have a written agreement from the seller side to compensate you for this small class of category of unrepresented buyers. The question is, well, if I meet them at the open house and the buyer signs my BRBC and is happy to have me as their agent, and you've successfully got them to sign your buyer representation, maybe just for this one open house transaction that you're holding, great. I'm proud of you. Now, that buyer that's under your representation is not under this classification of unrepresented. They are now you are representing them as a buyer. You've met them at the open house as a stranger, but you are now becoming their fiduciary agent, and you'll be writing an offer for them on their behalf. And if you're the listing broker as well, you're a dual agent in that situation. And we're all aware of what that is. May a seller refuse to receive offers from an unrepresented buyer? Yes, it's like a seller, like every other offer, they get to review, consider it, and if there's no incentive or little incentive for a seller to do so, they may not, they don't have to accept every offer or every unrepresented offer presented to them. Maybe it's a poorly prepared offer. Maybe it's an inexperienced investor. We don't know, but we do have a duty to present it to the sellers, even if it's from an unrepresented buyer, and just like a normal, explain the benefits, because if you're a listing broker and you're presenting it, you're telling the pros and cons of all the offers. So that's what the kind of quick guide in a nutshell, what a unrepresented buyer is. And you can again just charge a flat fee or limited fee if you're just writing the documents and preparing the contract disclosures and addendums and instructions. You can also just get a full commission if you wanted to as a dual agent. Everything is negotiable. That's what the industry and the settlement wants us to do. Negotiate and have a conversation. Pick up the phone, talk to our clients, and have an understanding. Come to an agreement. So if you are not representing a buyer and you're helping them with an offer or sending them a blank offer, yes, you can give them a blank offer, but you should also add the form BNA, Buyer Non-Agency Agreement, allowing the buyer to read that you are not the representative. You're only helping them with some paperwork / other stuff, and you have limited duties and services, and you are clearly only representing the seller only. That's what this that's what this form is going to say. So any questions on this? No questions. So now we all understand that. Just letting you know, Coldwell Banker University every week will be putting together new classes on a daily basis. Every single day almost every day of the week, there's something going on. So if you want to learn more about winning with buyers, that's October 9th. If you want to learn about business planning session, there's one right here on October 8th. Lead generation and holding open houses is a great classes for you to really just sharpen your tools and hear how others own their objections and answer all the excuses that clients have. So I encourage you to take a class or two, because you have really professional trainers in here teaching this to you in a different format than me. Remember, I'm the bitter broker right now, and I'm telling you to get disclosures. I'm telling you, I need you to listen to more attorney webinars and CAR disclosure charts, which are here available to you to teach you how to be compliant and avoid litigation and complaints. So the market update is now ready, and we finally had some relief where the Fed couple weeks ago just reduced the interest rate for the federal funds target, and that did encourage a little bit more mortgage activity. So that's going to help trigger and ignite some of the buyers who were on the fence and borderline kind of disappointed or frustrated with buying process, not getting acceptance, or the prices are too high, whatever excuse these buyers had. This is going to help them. This new consumer confidence is kind of just kind of wait till the election, wait till the end of the year. There's some people on the fence, but we do know that the rates have improved. Rates are now under 6% for the 30-year financing, and demand is already picking up. So that's an indication that this last quarter of the year will be unseasonably strong in winter, which is abnormal. Normally it's a slow season, but with the rates improving, they anticipate that there's going to be some more activity than usual. All right. So what are they forecasting in 2025? Well, Jordan Levine and the CAR economists suggest that there'll be about a 10.5% increase in 2024's volume of units. That's a decent amount of pent up demand, and sellers who are holding off and waiting until rates improve, there probably should be more volume and more units sold next year than this year. They do anticipate the median home price to climb another 4.6% in 2025. So that's suggesting that there's a favorable and optimistic perspective of sales price and real estate values from this year to next year. So housing affordability is about the same and stable. So that's something we're going to talk about right now. So let's get into my PowerPoint with CAR. And I'm going to start sharing that screen in a second. So let me get to the share screen section. Hopefully you can see the full slide showing forecast preview 2025. Can someone say yes or no?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Narinder. We got the bond market myth versus reality. And so depending where you're sitting, whether you are optimistic or a pessimistic person, what we're going to see, some people, there's a reality and then there's myths of what happens so there's a lot of people out there watching from the sidelines. Buyers are watching, sellers are watching, investors are watching the stock markets. We're all anticipating what's going to happen. Everyone's kind of going crazy. Even Kermit the Frog here is going, they're confused. We have discussions regarding high inflation. We have discussions on employment and unemployment rates and the interest rates, whether they're going to climb or fall, and who's going to be our next elected president for America. All of these things are real, valid concerns. And I'm trying to go to the next slide. My screen seems to be frozen on this page for a second. Let me see what's going on. Kermit the Frog is breaking the screen. Let me reload it. Something is reloading. It's taking some time. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm reloading it right now. Hopefully it can open this time.
So Kelvin, do you have any good plan for your wife coming up birthday?
Do I have any good plans? We are planning something. It's still a secret right now. But I can't release that information.
Absolutely. Anything planned that, surprise, it'd be amazing for her. I'm sure for the family too.
Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, let's see if this goes through. Let me get out of this Kermit the Frog. It's still stuck. This slide might not be, maybe it's a broken PowerPoint because I got it and downloaded it from CAR. but it seems to be freezing at this spot. But I was able to view it on my other computer. Well, anyway, I'll give you the gist of it. Luckily, I do have the article that is referencing as well. So I'm going to jump into the article portion. I apologize for the delay because this comment is definitely causing me to freeze my Google. Okay, so here's the hyperlink. This one hopefully should work. And this was a cool article. Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, sorry guys. Here I found this one's pulling up now. So this is from the OC Orange County Register. And I'm going to try to make this a little bit larger so we can see it. And the headline news that they're reporting is that California housing to see stronger sales, rising prices in 2025. And the realtors do forecast. So this is interesting to read because we're seeing here that they're anticipating 2025 to be the third slowest real estate housing season since the Reagan administration. But I just announced that they anticipate more volume. How can that be? So, well, if you get into this article, and I'm going to give you guys the link to it, and so you guys can, after you log into CAR, you can also read this from your own screen if you want to log in. I'll put that in the chat box. So this is discussing how homeowners are really going to be impacted as what we feel maybe some relief. They do anticipate that 10% more sales in 2025 than 2024, but 2024 was an abnormally slow year in terms of sales volume. Both 2023 and 2024 were the slowest sales volume years since the 80s. So 2025 is anticipated to also be another slow season. And that's the unfortunate reality. And that's why I called myself a bitter broker, is I'm telling you that this is what they anticipate from a statewide level. Everything's market-centric. Sure, there could still be very hot areas like in San Gabriel Valley. We know certain areas are still very desirable and attractive. So what they're really predicting that is going to be about a 5% rise in pricing, median price, to about 909,000. That's the median average, not median home in California. That's risen incredibly since just the last 4 years ago when it probably was in the 670, 690,000. So it's nearly doubled in the past 10 years, the median price in California. So with the lowered borrowing cost and improved rates, we anticipate that more sellers will be entering the market because they've kind of just had some pent-up demand, and buyers are now more interested than the last 2 years. So that will keep prices afloat and slightly strong because of the demand and low supply. We will still have a a normal market because the clients and homeowners that were locked in now will have less incentive not to sell. They'll have some more flexibility to pursue their home that they've been waiting for to suit their needs because they've been waiting and waiting because of the high rates that in the new payment that they would had at 7% was unattractive. But when you're under 6%, now it's slightly more attractive to these sellers that are no longer locked in. So buyers will still have to be putting aggressive slash stronger offers because there's still limited housing supply. So that's really the gist of the economy. It's a cooler economy in 2025, but CAR does not see a recession. Okay, that's its own paragraph right here. So that's something, at least a little breath of relief that is not necessarily such going to be a crash. It'll just be some soft landing is more and more likely. That's what the forecast suggests. So that's cool. That's good news. No crash is good. Moderation, some slight corrections in certain markets. Sure, we can handle that. So that was ultimately the summary of what the economist was really mentioning in his slide. And just wanted to share that with you because I think it's important. So moving on to the next slide. Thank you for being patient with me. My technology wasn't working with the other PowerPoint. And just letting you all know, there is a bundle available for the buyer representation and listing agreement class, a free class you can access for 1 year with the CAR. So you can click on this link, use Forms 49 when you check out, and you'll be able to access and learn more from the new listing contract and the new BRBC forms. Insurance is still hard to find and difficult to obtain, so get your quotes early when you open escrow, as a reminder. And my YouTube channel has a wealth of classes and information and content for you to really just understand how to explain and present things to your clients and have a stronger perspective and understanding of our forms, guidance, as well as practice. I've had a couple questions this last week. How to close out an MLS listing. If you're a listing broker, guess what, guys? Report your closings accurately. And so I want to explain and spend 1 or 2 minutes on this. The CRMLS is going to ask you a series of questions. Were there any concessions to the buyer, towards the financing, towards the buyer broker compensation, or other? I want to explain this really clearly. If you're seller and you're a listing agent, remember, you're the one reporting sold when you close escrow within 2 days of closing escrow. Well, guess what? If your seller paid any payment to the buyer's broker, the final payment, not what was pre-negotiated at the beginning, but let's just say whatever is at the end of the day on your escrow net sheet from the seller, what is that payment from seller to buyer's brokerage firm? That will go under this field here called concession buyer broker fee. It may not match your SPBB that you initially signed at the beginning of opening escrow. Let's say it was $20,200 when you opened escrow, but the price was reduced $15,000, and now it changed your amount to slightly less. Okay, in that scenario, you would report the commission that was paid by the seller at the net final settlement sheet on this that escrow provides and issues right here. And then if there's a $15,000 repair or closing cost credit to the buyer, you would put $15,000 or whatever the amount here under concession towards closing costs. We often write that in language, seller to provide $5,000 to buyer towards buyer's recurring and non-recurring closing costs. It's legal, it's allowed, it's handled and transferred by escrow, and this is all legally allowed ways to address renegotiations mid-escrow or concessions towards the repairs when you go ahead and sign a RRRR repair request, this is the amount that's given to the buyer's closing costs. Okay. Now, if you have any financing involved in this situation, let's say the seller says, I agree to pay $10,000 to give you a 3-2-1 teaser rate, where in 3 years, 2 years, and 1 year, they have a adjustable rate that's cheaper than the 30-year fixed. Yes, you could do that. You can have the seller pay for the buyer's financing closing costs, or the seller can offer to pay the points related to the buyer's closing costs. So if the seller pays 1 point to help the buyer give the seller all the proof of funds and the contract that they write, well, yeah, the seller's going to get the net at the end. They could pay that 1 point to help the buyer out, and they get the favorable rates that the buyer wants. So if there is any payment towards lending, financing, points, closing costs related to the lending, that's where you put that concession field in here. And if you're making any concessions to property improvement costs, such as maybe it could even just be, well, seller agreed to pay $2,000 towards the fumigation on the property, and you're going to fumigate after close of escrow, for example. Well, that would be a concession towards property improvements, and that $2,000 could be labeled right here towards, and you can have any comments described. Who's going to use this information? It's used for purposes. It's used for appraisers. They'll rely on the information that you put on here. And I'm just giving you one real life example in which we closed in El Monte, and the buyer did not want to pay anything towards the property's city inspection fee, because this particular El Monte City has a pre-sale inspection, which required a $5,000 bond to be paid by the buyer. The buyer says, I'll take the condition. I'm agreeable to make these repairs on my own after close of escrow. However, I'm a buyer that does not agree to this $5,000 bond. And the buyer said, no, I do not want to pay that bond. So in this situation, the agents negotiated, communicated clearly and successfully, and says, okay, I still want to sell the property. You're still going to pay me that price. How about this, buyer? A seller will pay the $5,000 as a credit to you towards your closing cost, buyer. You will take that $5,000 credit and pay the bond and sign a bond with the city of El Monte at their clerk at the office, and seller's paying for it. You go ahead and do the repairs like you agreed upon. The seller was willing to offer this, and they got the escrow closed this past week. So I wrote the notation, and that's how it was handled, and that's a proper way to handle this situation. Yes, you can write comments. If you are not sure how to write the comments, you can go ahead and give management a call, and the system will total all of the concessions offered and put it in here automatically at closing. Any questions? If not, we'll get to our new listings. I want to wish and congratulate Steve Hang. He has a new listing here on Monterey Park, multifamily, 3 units, 1.598 million for a 2,800 plus square feet building. That's not too bad. Henry Liu has this Temple City Boulevard townhouse for sale, for lease, 5,200 per month. And Anna Hui has this listing in Pasadena, 4 bedrooms, 1.899 million. Very nice, attractive curb appeal. Very congratulations on your new listing, Jennifer. In Beaumont, she's a 2-bedroom single family for 408,000. Looks very, very nice and affordable. This should sell fast. And Michael Paris has a rental in Richard Circle, Los Angeles. Looks like it's up in the hills, has great views, only $49.50 per month. Irene Wu has a rental for 3,000 per month, 2602 El Capitan, Arcadia. This one should fly because I know a lot of people are calling on this one. It's very, very reasonable rent. Julia has another listing at 789 Hawthorne, Pomona, single family, 650,000. Congratulations to her. Julie, do you want to say anything about your listing?
Hello, yes. Oh, sorry. This one is a remodeled, so everything inside is remodeled and the lot size is big. But the garage is, I mean, they have a garage, a detached garage, and the lot, the backyard is not well maintained. So people may need a extension or add ADU backside is very big. But this house, the main house inside is everything is remodeled and it's very nice looking and should be okay. This front yard and backyard have a lot of space.
Just need some gardening and some TLC and
Yeah,
maintenance, deferred maintenance. You know, if the interior is remodeled, don't judge a book by a cover. This craftsman styled home
Craftsman, yeah.
has a beautiful, gorgeous look. And congratulations. Thanks for sharing that. Laura and Abraham are tag teaming, co-listing 2766 Crimson Way, Pomona. Lovely, attractive property that should sell. It's a very nice townhouse, only 648,000, built in 2017, I believe, and it's very, very attractive and hotel style inside. And this is closers. Henry Liu, congrats on closing 35 Camino Real at 2.58 million. Lovely 5-bedroom house for 40 with 4,200 plus square feet. Amy just closed 4232 Lind, monthly rent of 3,900 per month lease. Meng Li closed 6984 Old Peak Lane in Eastvale for 937,000. Henry also leased out 585 Duarte, Unit 29A for 2,700 per month. And he sold in Petaluma, this beautiful pasture agricultural property with a giant lot size, sold for 4.95 million. Amy also closed this townhouse. It's a rental on Garvey in Rosemead. And Danny Estremera closed 11422 Mulhall Street, El Monte, 1,010,000 for a single family. Congrats to Danny. And Jean Cheng closed this 2023 Curtis Avenue, Alhambra, single family, sold for 1.128,888. Very lucky closing. And Andy sold 845 Marengo Ave, number 7, Pasadena. Nice little townhouse over here, newer construction, sold for 1,090,000. Cherry Wong sold 2106 Fern Avenue in Ontario. Nice modernized, beautiful looking home for 699,500. And Julia, congratulations to you in Baldwin Park. This condo sold for 505,000 on Francisquito, Baldwin Park. Congrats to Edgar and Carla. They closed 11228 Mohall Lane in Whittier for 830,000. The single family sold, 3 beds, 2 baths, 1143 square feet. And Andy also got this leased out in Rosemead, 1843 Delta for 3,300 per month. Sylvia helped close 8174 Spirit Chino. This is a nice newer construction condo, sold for 599,000. And Kayla Liu leased out 2918 Sycamore Lane in Arcadia in the Mayflower Village area for 3950 per month. 3630 Peckham Paseo in Ontario. Nice commercial, what is this? A condominium in Ontario for 574,000. Good job to Cherry Fung. And Cherry Wong, 1210 Carlton Ave, West Covina, 790,000. Cherry got this one closed. Anything else you guys may have on upcoming soon or needs or wants? Pocket listings? Well, we're right a little after 11 o'clock. We're right in the beginning of Q4. So that's the end of the sales meeting. I do apologize for the technical difficulty on the market update. Should have worked because it worked on my other computer. But that's well, let's see. I'm gonna try to pull this part up and let's see if I can handle it now. I'm trying to pull up and see if it's unfrozen now. Nope, it's still frozen. So sorry. The link may work for some of you. It's on the car website. If you want, I can also, let me see if that's the link right here. So that's the rate. That's to the class, to the PowerPoint. And maybe it might work for some of you who stayed on. You can watch it on your screen after logging into car. All right. Have a great week.